Hello, welcome and good morning and welcome to the P&B Morning Show. My name is Isa. No, what a very beautiful Wednesday. And just like we discussed on Monday, so much had actually happened before now. And these are some of the issues that we'll be discussing this morning. And together with us, or with me in the studio, are my other fellow anchors. And amongst us is Abraham. I think you seem not to be a bit set this morning.
No, Nigeria is not set.
I know Nigeria is set. Please let us not start with that banter this morning. We mustn't always negate our country.
So we have to just take it the way it comes.
But then still, we still have to prepare. We don't actually have to take it the way it comes, because sometimes when you take things the way they come, it also tells you that you are not actually ready for the success of the day. And just in our midst is also the social media personnel, or let me say the personality behind the social media and in person of Anifa Apampa, always giving us the tidbit of what is happening or what is trending on the social media. For many of us who understand the ethics of the traditional media, and then we look at the coming of Trump, and then we also gauge the tempo of free speech. At some point, I remember during the NSAS period, there was this agitation that let us restrain Twitter, let Twitter build their office, let this happen, let this happen, let this not happen. So much actually happened during that particular instance. And now, President Trump, who was elected, has now, during his inaugural speech, raised critical issues about free speech. And don't forget, Elon Musk is part of those who actually gave him a huge amount of campaign. So much to discuss this morning on this particular desk, the P&B Morning Show. And just a part of this segment this morning will be the social media, which we are going to commence with. And definitely you'll hear from her some of the issues that are actually trending. And after that, we'll also go into the newspaper review, our preview, and to see some of the happenings across the country, or probably maybe even across the globe. But then still, we are still going to bring it back to what are the foreign policies of President Donald Trump, who was elected and also carried out his inauguration. That was on 20th. And then he said so much about 9 or 10 policy statements on that day. And that brings us to the fact that for many leaders in the world, when it comes to the issue of electing a president, there are so much behind it. And the moment you are elected as a president, even before inauguration, many analysts will always see your words as policy statements. And that tells you that you don't talk anyhow. You don't mention some statement anyhow. You guard your statement, you guard what comes out of your vocal cord in order for you to give a better direction. President Trump has made over 10 policy statements. And this policy statement, whether we like it or not, it affects us as Nigerians, it affects us as Africa, and then it also affects the global community. From the international relation angle, we'll be having our guest this morning to also join us. That will be after the newspaper review. So stay tuned while we go on this mild break.
On our top trending story today, has with Nigerians everywhere. The Nigerian Communication Commission (NCC) has recently announced a 50% hike in telecom tariff, and as expected, it has ignited widespread outrage across social media. Many are calling the policy a tone-deaf policy by the government, accusing it of being out of touch with the current realities faced by the average citizen, with inflation soaring and the cost of living already at an all-time high. This additional financial burden feels like the final straw for many. People are saying this decision reflects insensitivity, particularly during a time where the citizens are struggling to make ends meet. Social media platforms flooded with posts and videos criticizing the NCC and calling on the government easing the hardship of Nigerians instead of compounding them. On the other hand, some defenders of the policy argue that the hike could be tied to the rising operational costs faced by the telecom companies, who have also been hit by inflation and other economic challenges. However, this perspective has done little to appraise the public outcry as this effect, not transfer them to the citizens. The question on everyone's mind is, where does this end? With increasing fuel price, rising food costs, and now telecom tariff, and the strain on household continues to grow. Many Nigerians are demanding urgent intervention to stop policies they feel are eroding their financial stability. On our next story for the day, we have the Nigerian footballer King Ola Great, who recently responded to a post by Sevilla FC on X, asking how many reposts he would need to secure a tryout with their team. Sevilla FC replied with 100k reposts, and as we all know, Nigerians are always ready to rally behind their own. In less than 24 hours, King Ola Great achieved his 100k repost. However, what happened next sparked outrage. Sevilla FC later dismissed the exchange as a joke, and Nigerians were not amused. Many felt it was insensitive to play with someone's dream and aspirations. The backlash was swift, with Nigerians mobilizing online to demand accountability from Sevilla FC. As of now, the X account has been suspended following massive online pressure. The question remains, was this truly a prank, or will Sevilla FC honor their initial promise and give King Ola Great the opportunity he worked for? We'll be keeping a close eye on this story, and we'll be bringing to you updates as they unfold. And moving on, Nigerian rapper Speed Darlington has regained his freedom after spending 2 months in prison following allegation of defamation against fellow Nigerian artist Burna Boy. The incident sparked significant public attention. Speed Darlington was detained over comments made about Burna Boy following his release. Burna Boy reportedly issued a warning stating, "If you misbehave again, you will be going back to where you're coming from, and this time around there will be no more." As this isn't Speed Darlington's first time running in with controversy, many are watching closely to see if Speed Darlington will stay clear or go further to defame Burna Boy again. We'll be keeping eyes on those developing stories and bring to you as they unfold. UK-based Nigerian vlogger has taken upon himself to replace items allegedly taken by the Nigerian police from the brother of Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the controversy party in the UK. This follows a viral video where Kemi Badenoch claimed the Nigerian police officers stole her brother's shoes and wristwatch. The vlogger gesture has sparked conversations online, with many commending his effort to defend Nigerians' image. Some also hope this act will discourage Kemi Badenoch from speaking negatively about Nigeria in the future. This story has ignited mixed reactions, with some questioning the intention behind the gestures and others seeing it as a patriotic move to address public criticism of the nation. And this is all we have for you today on What's Trending. Thank you for joining us here on P&B Television, where we bring you the stories that matter the most. Do not forget to stay connected with us for more important updates and conversation. Until next time, I am Apampa Anifa. Stay with us and have a wonderful day.
Welcome back from that mouth break, and just before now we had this special segment. Well, I say yes, I will call it a special segment because it comes with so much vibes of what is actually happening on the social media, and most especially Twitter, Instagram, and then Facebook, including TikTok, because we know that some of the allegations before Speak Darlington was actually coming out, and basically it was on Instagram and TikTok where he actually raised so many questions about Burna Boy's integrity in terms of how we run things socially. But then definitely, let us quickly get Hanifa back to this desk. Hanifa, so much happened.
Yes, sir.
And you raised issues about Spink Darlington being released. And how was it like for him to be in that particular prison for almost a month, I think?
So, more than a
month.
Christmas there and also New Year.
So invariably, it's good for us to actually keep our mouth shut sometimes.
Sometimes, exactly, because defamation is actually is a crime.
It's a crime now in Nigeria. You know, before now, Abraham, if you remember, before now, nobody cares about what you say online. Is it that the virtual reality is actually coming as that reality as it should be?
Yes, because if you let a lie go on for too long, it becomes your truth. So if someone puts out a lie against you and you don't correct it immediately, it starts to become your truth and it starts to become your reality. So that's it. To fight back against defamation, when someone says something that is not right against you, the next thing you have to do is to fight them and say the truth.
Okay, but Abraham, as a man,
if we should look at what happened to the activist lawyer. What should we say in his own case with the
to me? No, his own case was not his own case. If you look at it, is quite different from what happened to Spink Darlington.
Okay.
In his own case, he wrote a book, and in this book, he raised some questions.
Okay.
And one of the questions I was told that he was asked in the court was that, now you said this Afe Babalola, the eldest. No. I mean in the court. In the court, one of the questions that he was asked was that in your book, you stated that Afe Babalola bribed the justice system. And do you have evidence to it? And according to what I saw online, he said no. But it was already written. And at the same time, this book has been published. So it goes, in short, people are still buying that book till this moment.
Yeah. It was even sold out.
No, it was even sold out in Amazon and the So those are the questions. And that brings the issue of defamation. Now, in Spink Darlington's case, you allege that somebody is a gay.
Oh, that is what he alleged.
Yes, that was the allegation.
Oh,
he alleged that Burna Boy is a gay. And the issue of Burna Boy and what's the name of this guy, Puff Daddy, Diddy, as he's popularly known in the United States, a musician, that they had something. And then the question is, do you have evidence for it? These are serious cases. That's why, for me, I do believe that, look, when it comes to issues like this, you have to be very, very careful.
Of course.
It may be true that something like that happened. But can you verify it?
Of course.
Can you bring hard evidence to this? You understand? So sometimes you see some evil and then you just keep quiet and then you go. Just like maybe you caught a man cheating on the wife or the wife cheating on the woman and you are the only person. How can you defend that when you don't have any major evidence? So sometimes you allow something to just lie low. And that's not the first time. It was the second time.
Oh, this is
the second time.
Wow. He did it the first time. He was arrested. They released him, and he
I think he's making a lot of money.
And don't forget, because look, sometimes let me even tell you what is even happening in this social media space sometimes. Most especially for those in the entertainment industry. They believe that controversy is actually what gives them money.
Yes.
So they raise controversial issues. Like the issue of Peter and Paul, the P-Square brothers. Whenever you see them want to release music, they go out and raise controversial issues that they are fighting, this, that. Everybody come back to their status. Everybody want to see what they are doing online and the rest. That's how they make their money. But for me, I don't think it is the best way. There should be other marketing strategy that one can adopt in actually selling their trade.
But it's all over the world.
No, it's not all over the world. Sometimes in Africa, we take it a while.
Oh, but is it not happening like when I see the what do you call him that slapped one of the
No, but that one was a different ball game. It was personal. That's, we are talking about Will Smith now, and the other was one of the best comedians we have in the world.
And everybody
that one was a personal because it was something that had to affect the family.
Okay.
But in this particular case, we should all see it as personal. But this one is like beef between two guys, Burna Boy and if you remember, Burna Boy said that it has actually affected his mental health. So let us quickly move to the second one. You raised the issue of Kemi Badno. She has always painted Nigerian black.
And she has a platform. She carries the name, so she should be like a very good ambassador of the country and the nation. But with every opportunity she gets, she talks down on Nigeria. Like,
Yeah,
what
she
if you
said
give me every opportunity she gets?
she's not a Nigerian.
But she is.
No.
She
She said she's a Yoruba. She should be seen as an Emilokon kind of person.
She's
It is at times, so, and it is a region. Emilokon. When we all understand what, maybe with time, Oxford Dictionary is going to add that also to the dictionary. Because look at what Kemi Badenoch is doing, for instance. Now, you were born in Nigeria. Your father, your mother are all Nigerian.
Okay.
She
Number 2.
wasn't born in Nigeria.
Okay, she was not by Nigeria.
She's a Nigerian. By birth, she's a Nigerian. Even she's not
By her parents.
Her parents.
By her parents.
By her parents. No, that's it.
But she's
By
born
birth, she's born as a
UK.
Nigerian because that's her father and mother. They are all Nigerian. Even if she was given birth outside the country, as far as we are all concerned, the moment your father and your mother are Nigerian, you are a Nigerian.
Okay.
You can be given birth on the sky. We don't care. You are a Nigerian. Now, number 2, you allege that our system is very bad. And so many Nigerians actually, not even Nigerians, even foreigners, even in London today. Look, let me tell you, there are places you go to in London today that are not as safe as Lagos.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
They always snatch bag and fund on the
Don't
streets
forget,
of
there's
London.
gun violence in that particular street. There are gangsterism in this particular society. So what is she preaching?
Maybe
She made our
she's
police
in the
system
other
look
part
so
of,
bad. The truth is that globally, the police system is even bad.
We know.
Globally,
Yeah.
it's not only Nigerian police system. And we've seen a Nigerian police system that is actually trying to bring their foot back on ground. So she shouldn't always try as much as possible
She
to
had a
paint our
very bad
image bad.
experience. Why she
She
was in
can't have a
Nigeria.
very bad experience.
So
The
why
same
is she
Lagos she
talking
grew
down
up
on-
is the
yeah.
same Lagos I grew up in. And
Years.
Here in Nigeria.
Yeah,
So I think maybe she saw, maybe when
kind
she
of-
was in Nigeria, she had this funny side of the police.
My brother,
Like it's
Abraham.
third-party reports
Abraham.
now, actually.
Abraham.
Yeah,
Not
but-
what she experienced.
She's a
personally.
Gen Z kind of woman.
Oh.
For me.
She's in her 40s now.
Forget that she's she's in the Labour Party or what are they calling it? Conservationist and rest.
conservationist.
Forget about that. She's a Gen Z kind of woman. She wants to trend. She needs the trends. Are you getting me? Even if she's in her 40s, she has the ideology. Moreover, she was born and the area where the father lived are places that are actually alien to all this kind of allegation that she's raising. Ikeja, Ikoyi axis are very good area in Lagos. Victoria Island. These are pouch area in Lagos. So all those allegations she's raising, for me, I don't see them as true.
No, all the allegations she's raising, the issue here is that I don't think she experienced them personally.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Or maybe
She read it. She got a third party and the rest of it like that.
To report this incident and the rest, so like that.
So whatsoever she wants to look out for, when she started her politics, she was actually seeking for Nigerians' vote.
No, that is why she did.
But for me, I think she's just been smart.
Okay.
She knows what she wants.
No,
You know our people.
Yes.
Look, Nigerians actually don't change. She's a politician. Let us not take that away. She knows what she wants.
Yeah.
And she's doing everything to dissuade people from not voting her.
Oh.
You understand? Oh, look, now I'm in this country. Mind you, that lady can come back to Nigeria and say she wants to contest, and then she will tell them that the white are actually, they are the colonialists, they are this, they are that. Yes. She's a politician. So to an extent, I won't blame her.
Okay, she's just trying to protect
at the same
herself.
time, again, you don't throw the baby and the bathwater.
Okay.
Right, so for me, that's just it. And maybe you have something else to say to defend her. You know, you women, you love yourself.
They always.
So the third one was what? The third.
TC.
Okay, NCC tariff hike, a very serious one there,
Yeah.
50% increment. And for many Nigerians, we've been groaning. I don't know if you are actually part of those groaning. And are you part of them?
We, on behalf of...
Okay, on behalf of your group.
Part of them.
So you can see that there's a 50% tariff hike. So probably with time we'll all stop making calls.
Of course.
And then we start using the WhatsApp.
It's here that you see people make calls
directly
like,
buying
no,
airtime.
like even you see I interact with like my brother when he's in the US. He will give me like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I get in it. Like, okay, 2 minutes. Go
States.
straight to the point.
Yeah.
Tell me what you want. What are you doing? How is your mom? And that is all. But Nigerians will ask you questions and they will start going back. You know, I love what is happening in this era. No, let's be frank. You see, some people will call you and say, Isa, how are you? Are you taking your bed? Have you eaten? What do you eat? You know, all those kind of funny, these are things that you don't discuss. This thing is meant for, okay, how are you? Where are you now? Are you coming to the office? Simple. Why are they making
and if I do you agree with it?
I actually do not agree.
I know she won't agree. I know because there are so much to it. There are so much. And if I please dissect it.
Because now we are actually okay. Now let's say apart from other people, what if you want to call your mom? There are people you talk to that we are about having a conversation with that you have to know every little detail about their day and what's happening. Hello, how are you? What did the doctor say? What's the next stage? What's the next stage they are going to now? Have you taken your medicine? Like there are things that you have to know step by step. You just call and say, "How are you?" It depends. Is there someone that you're on official ground that you pick up your phone and say, "Hello, are you coming to the office?" And that's it. That's that. But there are other relationships you have with people that you just say that you call them, you talk to them, but now with the hike in the tariff plan, just like he said, we're all just going to switch to WhatsApp call. But we still have relatives that are not on WhatsApp, that are not using that are not using Android phone, and we still have to reach out to these people, and we still have to make this call. So the WhatsApp is not just an alternative for situations like this. So we still need, and you know when you are calling, especially when you are calling our old aunties and grannies, they will go. They don't even talk one like we're expecting.
They do.
Hello, they will take a deep breath. How are you? So there is no way we are still going to actually say we want to escape this. The phone conversation is still going to come up, and the tariff is going to still definitely affect us.
Well, I accept what you said, but then if you look at it critically, with the economic situation biting as hard as it is, and then Nigerians grants on daily that I'm stating that you've also increased the tariff for everything. Now you're taxing us to hell. So in this particular case, yes, I agree. We have to make direct call. And Abraham, yes, I also stand on the same stage with her that, look, I do not agree. Because it is not all cases that are formal. Mind you, for people that lives in cosmopolitan society, made up of industries and the rest, an official grounding like the FCT, like Lagos, like Port Harcourt, yes, you just need to go straight to the point. Mind you, in those societies, you discover that the affinity for familyhood has actually working. It has the same thing you have in the West. It's the same thing you have in London. But if you, even in the US, you have something like that in California, in New York, all those places you have them. But when you go to places like Texas, for instance, you discover the conservativeness there. If you go to places like Britain, West Brom, for instance, you discover the conservativeness that is there. People still need that family ties to actually keep them. It's not everything that you make official. But for us, for this tariff hike, the reason why we say maybe we have to go on WhatsApp, because we understand that the digitization process, or let me say the telecommunication, has not actually gotten to the rural area completely. But we cannot run away from the fact that it is actually still one of the cheapest, despite the fact that there's an increment in terms of data. And number two, the advantage is that it actually gives you two-way. Apart from making direct call, the audio call, you also have visual call. You see me, I see you. I talk to you, I talk to you. The only thing that distances us is physical touch. But then when I see you, there is that sense of communication also. Just looking at you, we are communicating. I mustn't touch you. But just looking at you, I can tell that you're actually feeling fine, you're not feeling fine. So there are so many modes of communication. I remember even at the height of Boko Haram, I remember speaking to somebody in Sambisa Forest then. It was even through Facebook. And it was through Facebook video. So these are some of the advantages of technology, and these are some of the ways we can actually, when we have plan A, B, C, when they are increasing the tariff for our calls, then I think about 15 naira, if I'm right, if I'm about 15 naira per minute. That's a very huge one. So it tells you that 100 naira cannot get you 10 minutes. So it tells you about 150 naira. So everything you are doing now, you have to actually make a very good calculation for it. So much to discuss this morning, and just before now, we'll definitely be expecting our guests also to be on set so that we can start with our conversation. But then, let us look at some of these major issues that Anifa raised critically. For us, the justice system is one key aspect in our society. And if the judiciary or the justice system is fair, and the enforcement agencies are actually doing what they need to do, we shouldn't have people selective justice system. Like in the case of Speed Darlington now, if you look at his own case, a single person sought law enforcement agency to pick a guy without court orders, to pick him. They locked him for so many days.
He was not served a court order?
No. The same way he was picked the first time is the same way he was picked the second time. Mind you, this person is like saying the top and bottom. This is a set of the social class of these two persons. Top and bottom. One is known globally and one is known locally. So the global person sought the law enforcement agents to pick this particular person. in person of Spain Darlington. Now he was picked. For almost a week, the lawyers could not get in touch with him directly. And
they went to the police
they
station
tried to get him out to seek for bail. They couldn't. The case was dragged for 2 good months.
Wow.
So it tells you that some of the things that Dele Farutimi actually raised are actually true.
Very well.
That we have a complicit judicial system. And our criminal justice system, I'm not talking about just the judiciary alone, including the police or the enforcers of law, is actually faulty.
Very faulty.
That doesn't mean that we're all going to turn our back against the judicial system or the justice system. No. Because a land where there is no justice, definitely there won't be peace in that land. According to Meitama Sule, it is stated that it is better you have an unreligious person who is just than to have a religious person who is not just as a leader. So when you have a system that is actually faulty in this line, it tells you that, look, if you don't, that's why you see people actually looking for money.
Yeah.
Yes.
They look for money in whatsoever means.
So that they can intimidate.
So that, not because they can intimidate, so that they can also defend themselves.
When intimidation comes.
Yesterday, I had a small bro with a lady, and I remember she actually worked in Nigerian Complaint Commission or National Complaint Commission, and it was something that can easily be settled. But you know, because she believes she works in National Complaint Commission, she didn't know that I'm actually a journalist.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for her to say, okay, let us take this issue to our DJ, and I'll be happy to be there. Because the truth is that people want to bully you, especially in this social media. The ladies, they know. You can tell us better.
Yes, actually. You know, people just like to oppress themselves, like to show you that, oh, I am ahead of you.
Yeah.
So that next time you know that, oh, you don't mess with me. So people just like, the only time Nigerians don't like to oppress is when they are the one at the receiving end.
Yeah.
Naturally, we just like to show ourselves that, oh, I'm better than you, I'm ahead of you. So the only time, just like we say, we want law and order, but not at our own expense.
You know, this thing you just said, we want law and order, but not at our own expense, actually happened at National Assembly yesterday. We were all driving into National Assembly, and then there was a bit of traffic before you enter because there was serious budget defense. The Ministry of Education and other ministries were there, including Science and the rest. Did you know that the members of the National Assembly, I mean the elected members, our representatives, the senators and the reps, some of them were not patient enough to follow the queue. These are the lawmakers, and they end up being the lawbreakers yesterday. So we're going to a very short break now, and when we return, we'll be starting with a conversation on what is actually happening in the United States and how it is actually affecting the global politics, the geopolitics, geoeconomics, and so much to discuss with our guests this morning, person Mr. Chinozo Stanley Ndukwe, who will be joining us to discuss this particular issue. So let's go for this break. Welcome back from that mild break, and just a very intensive conversation on the social media angle, and also so much had actually happened just between yesterday and the day before. Mr. Trump, or let me say Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, was sworn in. And many in the world are actually reacting, because one of the major incidents that actually occurred before his swearing in was the issue of the Palestinian and Israel settlement that was actually placed on a very good standing. We can say Palestinians are actually happy that they are returning back to their own. But in this particular case, how is it also affecting Africa? So much was said. And this morning, we're having Dr. Chinoso standing by. Doctor, good morning and welcome to the P&B Morning Show.
Good morning, my exceptional Mr. Nuhu.
It's great having you this morning, and I'm happy that you are using that adjective to actually qualify me this morning. It also makes me more lively. And amongst me, actually, my co-host in person of Anifa Apampa and also Abraham Abba. I don't know which words you have for them this morning, but let us quickly move straight to the business of the day, Doctor. And what are your take? President Donald Trump has been sworn in with so much to states, most especially the executive order, a real act. What do you think are the implications for us in Africa?
Yes, very beautiful question. I have been a Trumpist, a Trumper. I have been one of those that absolutely wants Donald Trump to come back to the White House and continue the trajectory of development within America and the issue of peace globally. Because you could remember that during his 4 years in office, he was the only president we have read in history that did not initiate or start any war in contemporary times. I mean, within the past 50 years. Now, some of his executive orders, the one that is very peculiar to us, is the issue of energy emergency. He has instructed the energy department in the United States to begin to ensure that they deflate, reduce the cost and price of energy within the United States of America. Now, this has a global implication. When the richest country in the world, when the nation that is absolutely in terms of business and global is saying, let us reduce the cost of energy so that the masses can be able to access energy. That is very, very interesting. That is very, very necessary for all other countries of the world to begin to tow that same trajectory. Secondly, he has an order that says ease of the regulation of oil and gas within the United States. Look at what that entails. It entails that America will begin to manufacture more oil right now. It's begin to manufacture more crude, begin to produce more, invest more in production to increase its supply. And when supply increases, what happens? Price reduces, and also it also spreads the supply chain globally. Now, what that entails also is that America now will not be able to depend on OPEC only. It will not also depend, on selling to China. It will begin to spread its supply across the world, which will attract more funds for that country and also increase their standard of living. Already, when Joe Biden was there, the price of crude and oil was increasing, but also locally, cost of energy was very, very high in the United States. Now, it will also reduce that cost, and by that also reduce the inflation within the country. Now, the third world countries, the emerging economies, will look at this as a trend and something they have to emulate. Like us in Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will have to learn one or two things about energy or energy business. That if your country is having an energy inflation, your business cannot grow, it cannot thrive. That is the area in our country and other countries from Trump. He is looking at what the people can benefit. His focus is on nationalism. Nationalism deals with focus for your country, build your country. America first. Let us do Nigeria first. Solve the challenges we are having. Now, he also has done a deal also to ensure that every war that is being fought before he comes into office is both the Palestine, the Israel war, and other locations. This is a good lesson for us as a country, for us in the emerging economy.
Okay, if you look at what part of what he said, just like you've actually rightly stated, I said his legacy is to ensure that there will be a global peace, and he's a peacemaker, and we've started seeing signs of that actually. And just like you rightly stated, during his first tenure, there was no time he initiated a war, apart from the normal trade war between America and the Chinese. And he has actually withdrew the support from World Health Organization, and China are now actually coming in saying no. If Trump had actually reduced the support for World Health Organization, they will take that responsibility and take that role. So there's always this bickering between China and United States. We understand that. Now, looking back at what you stated, how do you see the difference in terms of ideology, foreign policy of the president, and that of what happened during our own last election, during last inauguration? The president now of America, that's the POTUS, is stating clearly that this time around it will be about energy. He's going to use energy to help dwindle the impact of inflation and price control. He raised this critically that price control is very, very important, and he's going to face it. But in this country where we are now, we are finding it very difficult because the market has been floated. These are some of the advice given by World Bank, IMF, and the rest. But we are now seeing a Trump that is actually trumping this particular issue, or saying, no, this is America first. Nobody is going to tell us what to do. we have to take the bull by the horn to make sure that we have energy sufficiency. So how does this make it different, and how can Nigeria learn from this?
This is a very important question, my dear excellent Mr. Isa. The issue of price control is very clear, it's very important as a country and as a nation. Now take a look at the issue of withdrawal from the Paris climate change. The POTUS, America's president, has drawn their connection, their agreement with the climate agenda. Why did they do so? They did that because the issue of the environment has made a lot of people in the business world to overlook the importance of the poor. For example, you see about electric car. He has cancelled the order of electric car. Now, what is he trying to do? He wants to make, because most poor people cannot afford electric cars. It's only the rich that can afford electric cars. Now, what is he trying to do? He wants to bring the people back to the roots, to energy, to the raw energy. Make it clean coal, clean energy that will be able to be affordable for the poor of the poor. Our country, for example, we have taken our currency. We have removed subsidies. Now, these two, it has not only destroyed our economy, it has destroyed our GDP. It has destroyed our price. Prices are up the roof. When prices are up the roof, what happens is that people cannot be able to invest. That's why you see foreign investors are leaving. Our FDI is low. Foreign companies are closing down because they can't afford energy costs is up the roof. What do the government? So what are we supposed to do as a government? Now look at what Trump is doing. Find out what is the center of our source. Nigeria depends on petrodollar. Petrodollar is the dollar that comes from our export of oil. Now how do we extend? How do we improve it? Now what we'll do is to begin to produce more. Invest in more production. When we produce more, what happens? We can export more. When we export more, we'll have more funds. And from that funds, we need to subsidize energy. Then when energy is subsidized, then we can be able to control price. We can control price. Not everything is freely floated, freely liberalized. Now Trump is saying no. We have to sit down and control our price, because what's the essence of natural resources? Is to benefit the youth, benefit the poor, benefit the women, benefit our people in the markets. If we can't do that, we have failed as a nation and as a government. So this we'll have to look at and can be able to focus on building our economy from the roots.
Okay, a colleague, I have a question here. Please, you can go ahead.
Good morning, Doctor. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
What do you think? What do you have to say about the free speech that President Trump is actually trying to work towards? You could see that he stopped the banning of the TikTok.
Yes. Are you there?
Yeah, yes, she's listening.
Now listen, I read there's a speech that Mark Zuckerberg made a couple of days ago.
Yes.
2 days before the inauguration. In that speech, he openly accused Joe Biden. He accused Joe Biden of all the social media network companies to restrict speech. But now he is welcoming the new government because they have brought freedom of speech. Now, the TikTok he brought back shows that he thinks about the people. Do you know that over 10,000 Americans were going to lose millions in dollars because TikTok was born in America? Because TikTok was banned. Now, bringing it back means he cares about the people, one. Number two, he cares about speech, freedom of speech. In the world we need freedom of flow of information. We're not supposed to restrict currently called X, TikTok, or Facebook. For example, now, if you notice it on Facebook, when you present a talk, it goes wider. People get to hear you. People get to respond more. Because all those they're all been removed. TikTok right now is America. TikTok is going more viral now because they have also removed all the restrictions. We are in a democracy, in a world of democracy, whereby people should air their opinion. If you find it wrong, you air yours, and we move on. We can't continue to begin to view. In Nigeria today, we have APC, for example, being so dogmatic, being so cruel and anachronistic in their control of information. You see, are afraid of critiquing the government. You see, people are afraid of explaining the issues that are wrong with the government. That is not democracy. That's not free speech. Commend President Trump such an to make sure TikTok is allowed in America. Also to improve trade. Because China is about to also fight back in restricting other social media websites that are owned by Americans in China. By being so thoughtful to bring back TikTok, it has shown that he wants to do business because he's a businessman. Most Nigerian politicians, they don't understand business. Most of them don't own businesses. They only depend on government money, on government resources. That is why they are not thinking of how to create more businesses. The whole Nigeria, for example, does not have a formidable website that can compete because our government doesn't think of how to support the ICT. TikTok, for example, was supported by the Chinese government. X was supported by the government. Facebook was supported by the government. So the lessons of this from Trump is to make sure we begin to look at how to support our ICT creators, our content creators, our app creators to develop because that economy is the future. Businesses are making a lot of waves within the app industry, within the cellular industry.
Okay, Abraham has a question for you, Doctor.
Doctor, good morning.
Good morning. Oh, how are you doing?
I can see you are in the high spirit this morning.
Thank you very much.
Now that your Trumper is back on seat,
yes.
What do you think he will do with the justice system since you have a court issue right now and he's been sentenced? So what are you looking? Is he going to address it and the gender issue that we've been looking at right from the campaign time?
Yeah,
he was sentenced before now. Just let me put that into perspective, Doctor.
Areas Trump has to be very careful.
Doctor, let me quickly put that into perspective.
Justice.
Okay, please go ahead.
With the peace of the nation. Now, for example, the cases he had, they were like, I call them valley cases. They were obstacle cases, but not really cases that had meat, had flesh. For example, there's a woman who made a comment 2 days ago. She is angry with Joe Biden because he pardoned his own family, pardoned most of his friends, but he did not issue pardon for her because she was the person that accused President Trump. Now, why was who as a witness the case against President Trump be asking for presidential pardon if she was not lying, if she was not used against Trump? Now they have made that a scapegoat. What am I saying? Most of the accusations against Trump, most of them were not built on truth. They were not built on facts. They were all cases to witch hunt him to stop him from coming to power. But he scaled through all the obstacles, through all the afflictions, through all the challenges and won. Now my suggestion to him is to take a look at the judiciary, take a look at the judges, to make an order, try to refabricate the justice in the United States, whereby it will be very hard for people to fabricate cases or a retired president or even an individual, because we know that without those fabrications, Trump was going to win that election before this particular one he won. Those cases were just to stop him from being from access to the throne. I'm going to straight with wisdom. Find out all those people, judges, those judges that lied, all those people that lied against him. He can proper justice because he cannot do this for that. This is my suggestions for him. As a man of honor, a man of truth, let him focus on building the economy of America.
Okay, Doctor, let me quickly come in now because we've already run out of time. But then, just a question, and I would like you to answer that within 1 minute. Looking at the situation of things now, if you remember how our economy was projected by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, look at the election before now, Nigeria's governance is more or less dancing more to Democrats than the Republican. So what do you think will be the final stake for the president now? Looking at the fact that the president of the United States that actually withdrew their support from World Health Organization. We understand we have a good relationship with China. Are you seeing a major swing in terms of economic policies of the president?
The president of Nigeria should learn from President Trump. Don't depend on China, don't depend on France, don't depend on who. Focus on medical care for every Nigerian. Every Nigerian has access to free medical care. Focus. I saw saw the wife of the president talking about tuberculosis. Let there be power electricity in every public healthcare center. Let them focus on building healthcare free for our people. We have the oil, we have the oil to do that. Let us focus on building free healthcare for Nigerians. Let's stop the subsidy. Let the president understand that energy is the central thing. It's the central particle of our business and our economy. Bring back the subsidy, reduce the cost of fuel, the cost of energy, and the economy needs to breathe. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chinonso Stalin Dekwe, public affairs analyst and an international relations expert. I'm looking forward to meeting you more on this particular channel, the P&B Morning Show on YouTube, Politics and Business.
Thank you very much. Take care.
So that's how far we can go with Dr. Chinonso Stalin Dekwe this morning on the P&B Morning Show. And so much we've discussed this morning, projecting Nigeria towards the future or into the future, looking at what Trump government is going to bring. It will be American first. That has always been his policy. And one key aspect that he actually made sure that the world actually is aware of is the issue of this particular aspect. He said, remain in Mexico, creating the wall between America and Mexico key, because he said that that has been the major path for influx into the country, illegal influx into the country, and it is actually affecting them as a nation. So we wish him the best, and we pray that Nigerians are actually going to benefit from his presidency. And also global peace, which is very, very key. So let us quickly dance to the newspaper review before we call it a day. We can just go straight ahead to some of the dailies this morning, and if we can have some of the dailies, the director can just punch that in with commencement, or let us commence with the blueprint this morning, the director. And on the blueprint this morning, we have set aside your historical grievances. Tinubu urges Ogoni. Yesterday they had a meeting, a very huge one. I saw two persons there, the former governor of Rivers State and the present governor of Rivers State. So you can imagine what that meeting would look like.
No, actually, I love what the president did. You could see he's trying to solve a lot of issues happened over some time since Fubara took in. And then we really want to give thumbs up to the president, because what he did is actually the right thing as a leader of the country. You understand? So I love the way he called all the elders in that region to just that they should give peace a chance, which is very important.
Okay, and Anifa, do you have any reaction to that?
No, I think I agree.
Okay, just beneath it is also Trump pulls U.S. out of World Health Organization, World Body Calls for Dialogue. So in that particular case, just like what we've stated,
yes,
he's more or less like Trump is not the globalist kind of person.
Of course.
He's a nationalist.
Of course.
He said, look, it is, just imagine that you are, being the head of the family, and you as the man, you go out, you give everybody money, you make people feel that, yes, you are actually doing well. But your wife is that one at home that you say, oh, she's crying here today, crying there tomorrow. So it means if the house is not okay, then charity indeed begins at home, and that's what Trump is actually trying to do.
That is what every leader, I think the African leader should learn from this gentleman. I will call him, like our guests call him, the Trumper. You know, he's somebody that will say it the way it is. He will call a spade a spade. And that is what a leader is. So what he's saying is that we've done this for a very long time, and it's not helping us as a country. Okay. So I think it's a good one. Okay, let us quickly move now to the next online, the Daily Trust. If we can have the Daily Trust on our screen. So part of the headline on the Daily Trust this morning is Jackpa. So now you can see that word has actually been used. So it's already on the Oxford Dictionary, so you can see it there. Jackpa. Our hospitals will be empty in 2 years, and that's actually a serious call. It's a serious call. And I think they need to do a lot. You see, the take-home pay for the doctors is actually not encouraging, because we had a lot of friends who are medical personnel, and the way they groan, the way they tell you they go through a lot, their money is not paid at time. There are a lot of issues. So I think the government need to do a lot for the hospitals to remain with good doctors.
And they need to even review their pay.
Yes.
So that, because in 2 years' time, even right now already,
a lot of them are,
right now.
Most of the hospitals where you go there, especially the general hospital, you hardly see is consultants. You see there.
You know, just recently, a particular hospital was actually attacked. I think is it in Bakori? I can't remember, but I know it happened in Katsina, and one of Ahmadu Bello University best medical students was actually shot. No, he was not killed actually.
No,
Later
yes.
on, yeah, he survived that. He was in the
it.
hospital because I saw Professor, one of the best professors we have in business administration, actually paid him a visit, and he's actually recuperating. And if you still look at this headline, you see just beneath that, the Nigerian Medical Association actually saying that, look, the government only cares about justice, the judges, the military. But in terms of health, it tells you more that, look, they don't actually pay priority to that. And the CMDs are actually complaining because if you are the chief medical directors of all these hospitals, federal medical hospitals, and you don't have doctors, how then will you work successfully? It will be a very tough one. You see patients groaning in pain, and then at the end of the day, there's no succor. At the end, there's no light at the end of the day that you are going to get better. It tells us more that our priority as government is actually not in good faith. In this particular case, if you are giving priority to judiciary, yes, we are not saying it is bad. You are giving priority to the security agency, we are not saying it is bad. But then the health and education and agri, energy. Now, this actually tells us about how we set our policy right. Look at Trump. Trump stated it very clearly. Security, fine, is there. But he made mention of public health system, which is very, very important. He made mention of energy, which is very, very. These were the policies he was beating hard on. If you compare that to some of our policies locally, you know we have a very long way.
You see, the thing I look about is most of the developed countries, if you see, they stand by their words. Like Trump, these are his campaign promises. This is what he keeps hammering on, and you could see that on his inauguration day, he brought it on board. And these are the kind of things we need to see with our leaders in Africa.
Okay, and just beneath that, where you have so is it Okada riders there?
No, I think they're scooping fuel.
I think that's something like what happened in Diko Junction. You can
but
see
this
the
is
fuel
not
tanker.
Diko Junction.
No, I don't think that's
this is another one that happened.
I think there was one recently. They said, is it in Kuba? I can't remember.
Can you imagine?
But then along the Kuba Express Road.
But are these people truly looking at what the recent happenings?
No, people don't actually care about their lives.
Is it
what
poverty?
They care about is survival.
Come on, can you just imagine?
It's poverty actually. That's what I'm saying. People actually don't care. The life to them is meaningless. As far as they have something to put on the table, survival phase. That's why I'm telling you. Welcome back from that mild interruption. And just before we call it a day, so much had actually happened, and we pray that the government of the day will actually put things into more perspective. A major change is actually going to take place in the world with the coming of Trump, and we hope the government should be very, very fast to adapt to these new changing times. And from my hand, let us quickly call it a day. I am Isa Nu, and to the right hand part of mine is
Abraham Abba. I wish you well, and let's continue being hopeful.
And in the middle is our social media commentator and person of Anifa and Papa. What do you have to say to round it up?
I'd say thank you. And just like you mentioned, I really hope our African leaders get to pick from what Trump is doing and actually get to work with him as well, so that we can see the nation and the continent go a greater place.
So once more, have a very lovely week, or a very lovely day ahead, as we are now in the midweek, and we hope your plans and your progress are actually also in the mid of it all. So we wish you the very best. Until we meet again, have a wonderful day and stay tuned.
Yeah.